Hi, this is Sam here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Thursday, the 25th of September. Starting with the FTSE 100, which is obviously seen the rising trend channel there from the beginning of June. The floor of the channel there at 9,200. It's also seen the 50-day line, which was at 91.74, the low yesterday, 91.77, and rebound above a rising 50-day line tends to be a leading indicator on the upside. And that's so far what we've got. Haven't broken through recent troublesome 92.60 resistance, but at end of day close today above that, and we could be looking for, once again, looking for the record highs 93.57, and then the top of that channel up to 9,500 as a target for the end of next month. The RSI at 55, so right in the zone for a fresh leg to the upside. We've had three RSI 50 rebounds over the near term, so again, another leading indicator. Moving on to the DAX, and here it's been a rather dead market and continues to be a rather dead market between the floor of the channel there, 23,400, and the 50-day line around 23,900. Not really much to say here apart from there's a little range to trade and waiting for the market to break the 50-day line, or perhaps before that break above neutral 50 on the RSI versus 45 at the moment. Worst case scenario is a rug pull down to the 200-day line, 22,800, but at the moment just looks a bit dead. The Dow was next, and here it's been a story of trying to get towards the top of that channel there from May last year, the red line up to 47,700. A couple of down days, so that delays it a bit. We're looking for that by the end of next month. On the downside, hoping that we stay at or above the 50-day line there, 45,000. For as long as possible ahead of a move to the top of the channel. The 50-day line currently the worst case scenario that we have. We haven't really been properly below that since the beginning of May. So a very bullish market. RSI in the upper 50s, so that's also in a relatively safe place. Onto the cryptos, and starting off with Bitcoin, which is still toying with the floor of that rising trend channel from the end of February, beginning of March, to the level there around 111. Below that, we've got 10 of the month support around 107. Worst case is a rug pull towards the 200-day line at 103 or just below 104. Slightly ominous that we've had an RSI failure below the neutral 50 level, so that is a continuation signal or leading indicator on the downside towards 107 while we're below the 50-day line at 114. Although it's obviously surprising that Bitcoin could go down at all, given all the companies buying Bitcoin for treasury, but maybe that's too cynical a comment. On to Ethereum, which is supposed to be the new Bitcoin, and here we've seen exactly what we didn't want to see, which was a break below the old August support there around 40.64 and pushing down towards the 4,000 area. We do actually have the floor of a rising trend channel as support, which is currently towards the 39.20 level. That was also the old resistance back in July. So maybe that is the area that, if you're a fan of Ethereum, you're hoping that's going to bounce around that number. Below that would be, I think, a nightmare scenario of having to go all the way back down to 3,300 in August support. So that would just mean that we've had a brilliant triple top and then failed and come down. On the upside, we need to get back above that 40.60 zone to cancel the bearish setup that we have at the moment. Still in a channel there while we're above the 39.20 zone, which is heading up to 5,300 potentially by the end of next month. But this market's now got to get a bit of a move on. Gold is next, and here it's been a case of having record highs almost every day. Obviously not yesterday. Top of the channel there, heading for 38.60, but looking for that by the end of next month, while we remain above recent support around the 36.20 zone. So quite simple on that situation. If anything, I suppose you'd say come up too far too fast, but it has been a great run nevertheless. Moving on to the stocks, and one or two weird ones. The first one is Arecor, which very kindly, even though nobody's heard of it, actually managed to hit our second target there, around 89 pence. Above that, we're looking for the upper parallel of that second line up to 140 pence, perhaps by the end of November. You can see it's a very, very strong chart, so it's a step fashion ascent, and obviously we had the great news today from the company, which has obviously helped the cause the co-development agreement, as well as the company's interim results. So a busy day all round. Upside value while we hold above resistance on the way down around 77 pence mid-price. Moving on to Cloudbreak, which has been championed here from the lows, and you can see all the lines on there. Current situation is that we spiked through the 0.92 peak and briefly went up to 1.2 pence. The best case scenario target here is the old spike there from back in 2023, and that's at 1.75 pence. So at the moment, still the message is the same, above 0.92, looking for 1.75, and ideally we stay above recent broken resistance around 0.75 of a penny. Moving on to Genflow, which seems to be enjoying the biotech boom, the great biotech boom of 2025. We're heading towards that top of that triangle there from last summer, as high as 2.5 pence. Looking for that by the end of next month, while we're above recent resistance on the way down around the 1.6 area. That's probably the best way of looking at it now. On to one of the best and easiest bull runs that we've seen in this on the stock market of late, which has been Guardian Metal. I think it's called up here around 8 or 9p, and obviously we've had a move today up to 102. Top of the channel there up to 107, so that's what we're looking for in coming days, while we're above the floor of the latest gap at 94 pence on an end of day close basis. Moving along to HUI, which is Hydrogen Utopia, and here looks as though the market finally cottoning on to the fact that the company just needs to announce one deal in Saudi Arabia or the Middle East, and it's off to the races. Here on a charting basis, we've broken recent resistance around 1.5 pence. Above that, we've got the 200-day line around 1.75. We have been looking for 2.4 pence as an initial target. Best case scenario target by the end of next month up to 3.5 pence. Ideally, as I said, we stay above recent broken resistance around the 1.4, 1.5 pence level. RSI, well, the 50-day moving average is starting to rise in the RSI. Already in overbought territory, but the shares seem to be just about to take off. Moving on to Light Science, and here, after a lot of jiggery pokery, looking for the shares to hit the top of the range. The top of that channel there, 4.6 pence by the end of next month, while we're on the right side of the 50 and 200-day lines there at 3.25 pence. But just got the feeling there with that bounce of the RSI that this move could be, especially with this V-shaped rebound, could be a stronger one than we've seen of late. Another big rallying stock has been Mkango, and here you can see we're pushing ahead with the progress through that rising trend channel from February. That's heading towards 55 pence or even 56 pence, and we're looking for that by the end of next month, while we remain above the 50-day line, sharply rising 50-day line at 36 pence. RSI was also just pushed through the neutral 50 level. On to Myler, and here also got a feeling that this stock is ready to bounce. We've had positive consolidation above a rising 50-day line, unfilled gap to the upside, starting this rally, and looking for 1.4 pence by the end of next month, while we're on the right side at 0.8 pence, and enjoying that double bounce there of RSI 50. Nativo is next. I know it has its fans, and I suppose its fans today, but quite happy. Here we've got an uptrend line in the RSI window. We've got the initial target there at just over a penny, which we're looking for by as soon as the end of next month, while we remain above that 50-day line at 0.4 pence. Ideally, I suppose we stay above 0.5 pence, but that 50-day line, a good trading stop loss. The last two, the first one is Nuformix, another hoped for rebound for a biotech situation. Here we've broken that resistance line there, around 0.1 above that, looking for up to 0.26 by the end of November, hoping that we are very close to a spike, so a periodic spike that the shares deliver. Double bounce, in fact triple bounce for the RSI at and above the neutral 50 level. Finishing off with one of the biotechs which hasn't so far joined the party, which is Poolbeg, but we've got a bear trap rebound from below the 200-day line at 3.75 pence. Initial target here up to 5 pence, and best case scenario target by the end of next month up to 7, which was support on the way down broken support back in November, December last year. But the key here, staying above that 200-day line at 3 3/4 pence. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.